It's Ian from RTO here. Welcome to tie 15 of round 1 of Battle Royale, the penultimate tie. And this week we see the Sex Pistols go up against Ian Dury. Now the album Never Mind The Bollocks was suggested by David Hunt, and the Ian Dury album is New Boots and Panties, suggested by nicksvinylbutty. We all thought he would put in Bernard Manning, but he went with New Boots and Panties from Ian Dury. So out of the hat first came David's Never Mind The Bollocks. Now this is the only studio album that the Sex Pistols released. It came out in 1977, and it's said to have influenced many bands and musicians in the industry in general, especially Johnny Rotten's sneering, half singing, half shouting vocals. As we know, the band had its internal squabbles. Bass guitarist Glenn Matlock left the band early after the recording process. In comes Sid Vicious, who wrote 2 songs, and then of course I have that controversial TV thing. But anyway, yes, the album title had the word "what's it" offensive. Many stores refused to carry it, and some record charts refused to list its title, showing just the blank space instead. Okay, so playing on here we have got Johnny Rotten lead vocals, John Lydon to most of us now, Steve Jones on the guitar and bass, backing vocals, Paul Cook on drums, Glenn Matlock does play bass on Anarchy in the UK, Sid Vicious plays bass on Bodies, and God Save the Queen. So the first track is Holidays in the Sun. It's a really good song. Great opening song to this album. It's okay to really... You didn't expect this on the first track, but it really is good. It's powerful. Then we got Bodies. Very good track this is. Proper punk track. Some great screamy vocals. I love Paul Cook's drumming on this. Absolutely killer. No Feelings, very solid track. Just about understand what's going on, but a very, very strong track. Then we get Liar. The guitar solo from Steve Jones is pretty good. Very underrated guitar player is Steve Jones. John's vocals are great. Everyone tried to copy his style of singing, but they never did really pull it off in my mind. Then we have God Save the Queen. Big hit, although it was banned by the BBC. It's one of their classics now. Absolute classic Sex Pistols song. But my favourite track, and it's always been one of my favourite, it is my favourite track by the Sex Pistols, and it's Problems. There's more tendency, it's got that lovely punk vibe to it, but this is where you sort of, the new wave of British heavy metal came from tracks like this. Some of the riffs are very heavy metal, more than punk. 17... little bit different for them. This was quite a slow track for the Sex Pistols. Pretty decent track as well. Then the huge hit Anarchy in the UK. First track I ever heard by the Sex Pistols, and I love the guitar solo from Steve Jones, and it's pretty good. Submission, one of them tracks that doesn't get a lot of mention because it is, I'd say it's one of the deep cut tracks on the album. You can see undertones of other bands that want what they wanted to do. There's a little bit of the... If you listen to some of the Police albums, there's a little bit of that sound from this track on theirs. Really good track. And then we get one of the classic punk songs, Pretty Vacant. What Can You Say Up? I think this is one of the benchmarks punk songs. Still sounds good on when they do it live, such on some of them reunion tour that we did the other week on the live albums of Sex Pistols. Absolutely brilliant track. Then we get New York, another classic Sex Pistols song. So many classics on this album, just brilliant. And then E.M.I, which takes 6 finger up at the record company. Yeah, one of the most influential albums of the 70s, wasn't it? It's just, you know, it's almost the greatest hits album as well. Okay, they did a couple of other songs, and, you know, the Great Rock and Roll Swindle, but they sort of fizzled away as soon as they came on the scene. Within a couple of years, they'd gone, but they left us such an influence, didn't they? You know, we wouldn't have had bands like Stiff Little Fingers, Sham 69 without the Skids, without this band. So good luck, David. Very good album to put in, and a very influential album on music industry overall. Okay, Nick Vinylbutty, my good mate from Corby, he's gone for Ian Dury. Ian Dury, a bit of a legend, singer, songwriter, actor. Sadly died in 2000. Really missed. He was also in a band called Kilburn and the High Road before Ian Dury and the Blockheads. And the album that Nick has gone for is actually Ian Dury's debut album, New Boots and Panties, and it was released in September 77, which was just before Never Mind The Bollocks. So they both came out roughly the same time. So this was released on the legendary Stiff Records, and the record covers a diverse range of musical styles that reflects Ian's influences in background in pub rock, funk, disco, British music. Songs of characters and stories based on the working class people he grew up with in the East End and the Essex Estuary. So playing on here is Ian Dury on vocals, Chaz Jankel on guitars, Norman Watt Roy on bass, Charlie Charles on drums, Davey Payne on saxophones, and Edward Spate on ballad guitar. Yes, mate, them names would crop up in Ian's career quite frequently, wouldn't they? Okay, the first track is called Make Up and Make Love With Me. There's some lovely piano at the beginning of this. A great bass line, and it's a bit of a rude song, but it's about waking up in the morning when you get a bit fruity. And I think it's a really fun song. And it's truthful. It really is. Second track is one of his idols, Sweet Gene Vincent. Little rock and roll going thing on. It's about a song about the great Gene Vincent. I love this song. Big Gene Vincent fan myself. It's very gentle, nice sort of tribute to one of his heroes. Then we have a lovely little track called I'm Partial to Your Abracadabra. Classic Ian Dury song. So quirky, lovely words, talking about real life, and it's got a great bass line in it again. It really is good from Norman Watt Roy. Very good bass player. I love that song. Then we have a song called My Old Man, one of my favourite Ian Dury songs. It's about his dad, about the buses. There's not much you know, no one writes songs about your dad being a bus, working on the buses. Talking about going down the Euston Road and you know, all these places everybody knows. It's all about real life. Absolutely killer track. Then we have one of the fun ones, Billericay Dickie. I just love this. Fun, uplifting, and it's the delivery of Ian Dury's vocal on it. One of my favourite tracks by Ian Dury. And we flip it over, and then we get Clevor Trever. That lovely keyboard bit at the beginning is wonderful. And it's a bit of a rap vocal, I've always thought this is. It's an absolute classic by Ian. Brilliant track. Then we got If I Was With a Woman. Very strong track. One of the tracks that does get forgotten about, I think. But it is a very strong track. Nice arrangement. A great vocal from Ian. Super track. Then we get Blockheads. One of my favourites as well. Very punky, gritty vocal. And a great track. Then we get Plaistow Patricia. Not going to say too much about it because it starts off with lots of rude words. A lot of fun. It's a fun song though. I wonder about probably a girl that he knew in Plaistow called Patricia. Very, very normal. Okay, then the last track on here is Blackmail Man. Very good punk track. It was what was coming. And to hit us with this punk rock, aggressive vocal, great guitar work, a really good track to end the album. Okay, it says, what happened to Sex, Drugs and Rock and Roll? It was never released on the original pressing, so that's why we haven't spoken about it. But it is one of the most, again, one of the most important albums of the 70s. It's one album that you must have. I had it on tape. I am now looking for it on album because now I can play it on a record deck. So I've always loved this album. It's fun. It's just got a great sound to it, and he was such a legend, was Ian Dury. So here we go. Penultimate round. Good luck to David and good luck to Nick. Both two very strong albums. I can see this one going to the wire. It'll be a really tight vote on this because both albums are just fantastic. I'll give you that now. They are so iconic and well appreciated albums. So I think you know the drill now. How to vote, and it is of course from 2 PM today in the community on the page. The poll goes up and then you can vote tonight on the live stream if you come in, and it closes at midnight on Wednesday of next week. So next week is the last round of the round one, and if I can quickly have a look, it's going to be against two great supporters of the channel. One you see every week on the live stream, and someone that has contributed literally from day one. We've got Talk, the Colour of Spring from Charles White, and PJ Harvey's Is This Desire from the one and only Mike's Vinyl Spiral, who comes up every week. So that'll be an interesting one as well. Okay, that's all for this tie, and don't forget, in a couple of weeks time Dave and I will be doing a review of round one and telling you who we would have voted for in the rounds if we were taking part. Okay, up next we've got a pick and mix, and this week we are taking a wander down the sidewalk, which means we're going to have a look at the US top 10 on this day in the year of 1972. So you should join me for that later. Bye for now.